Graham, could you help us understand the sustainability framework that's been developed by the core business that then the Ventures team is linked into?
Yes, absolutely. So our corporate sustainability action plan is called This Is Forwards.
Okay.
So there's a lot of public information available on it if people want to go and have a look. And it sets out 6 action areas that we've identified. Some of them more obvious and kind of closer to our business, if you like, and some of them perhaps less so. So the more obvious ones would be kind of action on drinks and action on packaging. So action on drinks is around choice and around making sure that we have a mix of choice in terms of full sugar, low sugar, zero sugar products. Action on packaging, it really is around making sure that we are able to collect and collect our packaging and reduce our reliance on single-use plastic, move ultimately 100% of our bottles towards recycled plastic, and develop through Ventures solutions that move us towards different types of beverage delivery systems. The third area is action on society. So there our plans are more around youth employment, ensuring that our impact on the communities in which we operate is a positive impact. And then the last 3 areas are water, climate and supply chain. So in water, it's about reducing the amount of water required to manufacture our products. Climate is around our carbon footprint, particularly related to packaging again, and reducing the impact and reducing our carbon footprint. And then finally, supply chain is around sourcing of our ingredients and making sure our ingredients behind our products are sourced sustainably. So in each of those 6 areas, we've set out a whole set of targets and initiatives, which, as I said, people can have a look at. And that really was the framework that we used to think about where can Ventures make a difference and where are we able to have the biggest impact in the most relevant areas.
Where else have you been investing and working with businesses to tackle your packaging challenge and your carbon footprint challenge?
Yeah, so we have 16 companies in total across the portfolio, and I'd say 3 of them are in the sustainability space. So Cure would be one. The other 2 are a business called Lavit and another business called Innovative Tap Solutions. So I think with those 2 businesses, there are more examples of looking at alternative beverage delivery solutions, if we call them that. So in the case of Lavit, so this is a US business. They have a pod-based dispenser technology that's built for the workplace. So it's a countertop unit. It's kind of about that wide or so, about the size of a small printer. And it allows you to have effectively a packaging-free solution to dispense cold beverages in the workplace. So that's moving to a different type of beverage solution. We see that as a real opportunity for the future in workplace environments where you can have multiple machines on multiple floors. The capsules themselves are recyclable. So it's a much more sustainable packaging beverage delivery system, in this case for the workplace. So Lavit, I think, is an example of kind of changing the way we think about how beverages can be made available to consumers. And then there's another the second business, Innovative Tap Solutions, who also go under Pour My Beverage, also a US business, interestingly. And they have self-pour, self-pay tap solutions. So their main focus is actually beer. So if you imagine like half-time at the football or at a gig, everybody empties out of their seats and there's a crush at the bar. They have solutions where you have taps where you can effectively go, you can order your beverage, pay through whatever kind of payment system you need, and have effectively a kind of low contact automated beverage dispensing solution. So that's a really nice, again, a different way of dispensing beverages. Doesn't rely so much on single-use plastic. So we're working very closely with them as well.
Got it. So the first example with Cure, the investment you've made is really focused on helping them progress their technology and their manufacturing. With the second 2 that you mentioned, how will the capital be used for those businesses to progress towards these challenges?
So in those cases, it's much more on the kind of go-to-market side of things and on the kind of product development side of things. So in the case of ITS, Innovative Tap Solutions, with them, it's more about, at the moment, their business is very focused on the US. So how do we partner with them to grow their business in Europe? So we set up 2 trials already. So they've installed their solution at a theme park in the Canary Islands, which kind of falls under our territories. And they're also working with a casual dining chain in Spain as well. And in both those examples, these are customers of ours So you'd imagine we do a lot of business with theme parks and casual dining. So we're able to help open doors for them with those types of customers where they can then run pilots and they can build case studies that can then help them build their business over here. So it's a combination of kind of network access, but then also the product development side. Right. As you would imagine, we have a lot of expertise around post-mix, dispensing, beverage dispensing and equipment. So in that area, again, we work together with them, and some of the capital also go into machine and product development to help generate the next generation of equipment from their side.
Where do you see the future opportunity for the Ventures team to tackle the sustainability challenges that the business has?
Packaging remains the primary focus, but we are taking a bit of a broader look also at emissions. So I think it's a combination of packaging and emissions. So we have a commitment to reach net zero by 2040, with a significant reduction by 2030. And in that area, some of the areas we're looking at now I think are really interesting, because what we believe we need to do is have a mixture of horizon 1, 2 and 3 initiatives. So in the short run, things like Lavit and ITS can help in the shorter run around this kind of shift away from single-use packaging. In the midterm, you have things like Cure that can enable us to move to a kind of recycled closed-loop system. I think in the long run, there's some technologies we're looking at now around direct air capture. Okay. So how do you actually remove carbon dioxide from the air through direct air capture technologies? And we're also looking at bioengineering technologies where you can convert carbon capture from the air into precursors for packaging, into energy, even into sugar. So there's some fascinating, very early stage technologies that at the moment are really looking for, I think, sponsors like us to be able to help them get proof of concepts working, help them figure out the whole kind of unit economic curve, like how do you get that type of technology, particularly direct air capture is a great example at the moment. You need a huge land area given over to some of the existing technologies to be able to have any kind of material impact. So how do you kind of get those operating at smaller scale so they can be scaled across multiple sites? So those are, I think, those areas we're looking at now at the moment, actually more potentially through a kind of academic partnership route. And then when you get to where you get to there, I think is a real nice mix of kind of Horizon 1, 2 and 3 initiatives that can really make a difference over the long run.
What's the sort of the philosophical perspective on how important it is for Coke to be helping to tackle the long-term goal of getting to net zero for, say, the UK or countries that you operate within?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a question of playing our part as part of a wider collaboration. I think I've set out in our own sustainability action plan what our targets are around each of those areas. So part of our focus needs to be on elements that we are most directly involved in, like packaging. Cold drink equipment is another area that we're focused on, is looking at technologies that reduce the energy consumption of our coolers and vending machines. So that's another kind of part of our carbon footprint. So I think, philosophically, you need to focus on what is close at hand, where you have the opportunity to make big changes, because the kind of degree of influence is very high in those kind of areas. Still working together with other manufacturers, both beverage manufacturers and other companies. I think in the longer run, areas like direct air capture, I think it's a slightly different motivation in those areas. I think that's an area where the benefit to the startup and the benefit in terms of what they're able to achieve is kind of transcends what we might be directly responsible for as a business. I mean, direct air capture is a different type of technology. I think in that case, what we see is, as I said, is an opportunity for us to use our infrastructure to help accelerate the development of those technologies, and it's a good thing for our business. It might have some direct application if there can be a link between direct air capture and then what you do with that in terms of extracting carbon and using it for energy or using it for other purposes, then there might be a link there. But I think those technologies themselves are looking for the type of support and sponsorship that we can offer, and therefore that is an opportunity for us in a mix of venturing activities to do the right thing in terms of helping to develop those technologies and use our infrastructure to try and advance the scale up of some of those technologies.
Have the conversations at COP26 guided you to think differently, or are they validating what you already had in mind?
Yes, I think looking forward, we're hugely ambitious. So I think the COP26 conversations clearly just highlight this shift from climate challenge to climate crisis. So we feel like we've built a platform where we have a number of initiatives, a number of kind of bets, if you like, in play that can be truly transformational. Okay. So both what we have in the portfolio and some of the areas that we're looking to invest in, we generally feel like we've got opportunities to make a material impact on our business and on the industry more widely. So for us, it's about, okay, how do you now scale that? So with a portfolio of 15, 16 companies, how do you then find a way of accelerating that journey across all those three horizons? How do you kind of bring all of that forward at scale in a controlled way, so that you can really make a difference? And I think that's where we need to focus. So it's going to be a combination of what kind of resourcing model, what kind of structures do we need to put in place, whether it's joint venture agreements, whether it's about bringing the collaborations I was talking about, bringing together different interested parties, whether it's about even greater capital deployment. What is the lever that we need to be pulling to make sure that these technologies do advance more rapidly? And I think that's our primary challenge. And actually, when we think about the way we operate in Ventures, we've just reorganized ourselves into different pillars. One focused on sourcing, one focused more on investment and partnership building, but the third and most critical is the business development area. We call it business development. It's effectively, how do we work together with those portfolio companies to bring that technology forward and to scale it rapidly? So I think that's where we need to focus, and it will remain, I think, largely on the areas of packaging and carbon footprint and emissions. Those will be the two areas we'll need to succeed in.
I'm sure this has been an inspirational conversation for people watching, and your mix of deploying capital, thinking about future societal challenges, and having the open mind to fuse different cultures together in order to get to these solutions, I think is fascinating and a great role model for lots of businesses. So we wish you all the best of luck, and hope we can have you back as well to talk about some of the next investments that you make and how they're tackling the net zero challenges of not just the UK but other countries as well. Thanks so much, Graham. Thanks so much for joining CXO Disruptors today, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks for listening.